Yo, Surreal Talk Radio, your man, Calico the Surrealist on WPRK 91.5 FM, Winter Park. We are kicking it after dark with our special guest in the building. Right now, I got my co-host in here rocking with me tonight, so I'm going to introduce y'all to them, and we're going to get it going. Ladies first, we got Auntie August in the building. How you feeling?
I'm feeling a little good today. You know, it's a little warm. No, my bad, it's cold. I'm warm, but it's cold.
You warm, but it's cold. All right. Auntie August in the building. I got my man DJ Exclusive in here. What's going on, cuzzo?
Chilling like a villain.
Feeling good
today.
And he's smiling, too. That's different. Yeah, man. We got the heavy set, sexy Javion McVaden in the building. What's going on?
Mr. Heavy Set Sex in the building.
I got to turn your mic down. Boy, you got all that bass in your voice.
Hey, don't be no hater.
Ain't hating.
You know what I'm saying?
He's never a hater. He's always just petty.
Hey.
That's right.
Man, y'all tripping, man. Listen, we got a hot show lined up tonight. We're going to kick things off with my surreal topic of the day. We got music from around the way. We got our throwback track and my favorite part of the show, the Pump It or Dump It. Y'all get to call in and let us know how you feel about the music we playing. But now, man, without any further ado, straight to it, man. These brothers right here, man, my special guests tonight, these are certified platinum recorded artists that have been in the game for over 50 years. The legendary award-winning Whispers on the line. Y'all there?
How you doing, man? Yeah. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, we doing real good, man. It's great to hear y'all voice, man. Wanted to make sure y'all got the phones turned up over there so we can hear y'all nice and clear.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah. Okay, that's better. All right, cool. All right, okay. Man. So, man, first of all, man, we want to thank you so much for doing our show and helping us grow this platform, and we truly appreciate y'all for that.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, brother.
Yeah. All right, man. No doubt. Yeah, usually we get things started with my surreal topic of the day and go into our Pump It or Dump It, but for now, man, we going to get straight to it, man, and we just going to chop it up, see what y'all got going on. I want to kick the conversation off starting about sampling music. That's what I want to start talking about. Throughout the years, I'm talking more recent times, like 1997, we got the Will Smith sample of Miami, sampled the Whispers song. 50 Cent with the Good Die Young sampled the Whispers song. Everybody knows about the So Gone song by Monica. They had a whole challenge and stuff like that going off of this instrumental, people rapping off the instrumental and stuff like that. That was a Whispers sample. Even J. Cole, you know what I'm saying, sampled the Whispers. My first question to you brothers is, how does it feel to know that you've inspired, artists of the present day off of your music?
Well, it feels pretty good. You know, it keeps your name out there, and it's a compliment. But the main thing that it feels good is that you get paid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so those samples, we got our paperwork right on those particular tunes. So getting paid meant everything, but it feels real good. I mean, I'm sure Scotty and Neville have different takes, but we all feel like it's keeping us out there, and we've been out there for a long time, so that's just another way of keeping us out there. We're very impressed with it.
Okay.
You know, that's actually, and as long as we continue to get played, that means that the next generation come up, they get a chance to figure out who the Whispers are. So I've had several people come up, that are like in their 20s or 30s, and they're like, man, I never, my mom just turned me on to you guys' music, man. I didn't know you guys were this, this dope, and I'm like, oh, well, cool. Well, tell your mom, thank you very much for introducing you to the music. So it's nice to have that generation, that younger generation, get to hear what we've done, and we think that the music that we do is kind of timeless because, the producers that we've picked and things like that, if you listen to the music, I think if it came out tomorrow, it would just be as good as it was when it came out in, 1979 or from that point on. So we're really happy about that.
Right.
And then I'm gonna add on to that, brother. There's another side to that too. That like everybody's saying, we're very appreciative and honored that we've been sampled. All that's good, but there's parts of it that we didn't get paid, which is why we're now in the process of going back redoing our catalog. And
Right.
this is a lesson for all those young people who are inspired by us now. This is a lesson that they can learn, so they don't have to go through what we did. I mean, we got paid on some of it, and others we didn't. And that's why we're in the process now of redoing our catalog, so we won't have that problem.
Right. Okay, definitely going to talk about that. Kind of for jokes and giggles, man, but I'm kind of serious about this question. Y'all mentioned talking about charging people for these samples, but what we looking like when we talk about charging this sample? Like, what are you guys hitting these boys across the head for? Just like trying to,
No, we don't. It doesn't work like that. We don't charge anybody anything. If you resample our music, you have to go to the publisher who published our music, which is usually a record company, and they charge you. What Scotty just said is so important. Ownership means everything.
right.
By going back and re-recording our music, you do come to us now. That's what's happening now in the last 2 years with the Whispers. People that want to sample our music, they can talk to us directly, as opposed to talking to a record company which owns the property.
Gotcha.
And this is very important, as Scotty said, for young people to understand. Ownership means everything. When you own it, you determine what's done with it. And you determine how much you want to be paid for it. So that's how important ownership is. And for years, people from our generation, they recorded with record companies and got record contracts, but they didn't own anything unless they wrote it. You understand what I'm saying? So what we're doing now is correcting that. We've been around, thankfully, good and long enough to where we can re-record, because the statute of limitations has to occur before you can do that. In our case, that has happened. So now, when you hear the Christmas song by the Whispers or Donny Hathaway's version, you can come directly and talk to the Whispers company about how much you want to be paid for that to be heard.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm definitely loving this, man, especially, from my era, people tuning in this week, man, sit back, take some notes, man. Y'all really sharing some game with us right now. We definitely want to find out, we definitely want to talk about you re-recording your album there and things of that nature. Talk about your music real quick too. But I'm gonna get a couple people in my panel here to, if they got any questions, want to build on the conversation that we having right now. Anybody got anything to say about what's been going on so far in the conversation?
Well, since we're talking about sampling music, I see you guys are categorized as R&B. In the era that you guys came up on, do you think y'all should have been categorized as maybe funk or disco?
Could you hear? I couldn't hear her question.
I didn't hear.
The way you got your
little bit.
Yeah, you guys are categorized as R&B artists. Do you think you guys should have been categorized as funk or either the disco era?
As gospel, you said? I'm sorry. I can't hear what she's saying.
I think she's saying, should we been? Did you say pop or R&B?
Yeah, R&B. You guys are categorized as R&B.
Yeah.
But y'all also came around the funk, the funk era and coming off of the disco.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. No, we were under the category of R&B, but what R&B really meant is that black people, that's black music, and what happened back in our day, the chart, it was pop, it was R&B, and pop meant that you were exposed to white people. R&B meant that you mostly only heard by black people.
Mm-hmm.
What it should have been is that your music should have been heard by everybody. And when in 1980, when we had "And the Beat Goes On," everybody heard that. It was a hit. It was double platinum. So white people as well as black got to hear "And the Beat Goes On,"
right?
And that's what it should have been all along. When we came along as young people, the charts were really limited. The record companies dominated everything. They put you in the category that they wanted you to be in. You know what I'm saying? We're talking Shy-Lights, the Ohio Players, all these people recorded for record companies. And the record companies basically designated what they wanted done as far as those groups are concerned. That was all wrong. That's why we tell young people today, Today you don't need a record company. You can record your own music. You know how to produce it. You don't need a record. You can market it,
right,
and you can distribute it. But when we came along, that just simply wasn't possible. You had to go with the record companies, because if you didn't do that, you didn't get any exposure at all.
Right.
So you were kind of forced to do that. Thank God it's no longer like that. People from your generation, most of them own their own music, and they determine whether it's going to be classified as R&B or pop or whatever. The whole idea is to get as many people to hear your music as possible.
Right.
Then the other thing, it means it's worldwide.
Yeah, and then to add on to that, brother, the original first question you asked about charging for the samples, you put yourself in a position to where you can decide whether or not whatever it is you asked, what did we charge? We didn't charge anything because we didn't get anything.
Gotcha.
Now you don't have that problem. We say to young people now, it's real simple. One word: ownership. Own your shit.
Tell them again. Tell them again.
As simple as I know how to put it. You own it, then you control what happens to it.
Okay. All right, cool. Let me slip in and slide in and give us some little rules real quick, man. We on the radio. We gotta make sure, FCC, we can't,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
When we get to this topic,
it's all good, man.
They said that's a hard topic.
Yeah, it was the passion and the conviction.
Right,
it
the
had
conviction.
to come out. You understand that?
He wanted to stand.
It's all good, man. We be having some rappers up in here. We know exactly what you mean, man.
They pockets still want them.
Yeah, man. But I want to. All right, so let's look at it, man. Man, y'all have been big influences. I don't know. I wanted to ask you this. Outkast. I hear a lot of whispers in Outkast music. Are you familiar with Outkast, and do you agree to that?
Yeah, we've heard that before. We listen to Outkast. I think some of their stuff kind of is reminiscent of us, but they kind of have their own unique sound, I think.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Outkast, our guy that does our monitors works for Outkast.
Ah.
And yeah, and people tell us all the time that I hear a lot of whispers in Outkast. That's a compliment, I think they have their own unique sound.
Yeah. I can hear a little bit of influence in them. They do definitely have their own sound, but I can hear a little bit of, where they like the whispers. Man, y'all boys do a lot of stuff, man. It's like I seen y'all, chilling out with Snoop and Lil Duval, and I know y'all got some stories for that, man. Can we get a little quick story for hanging out with Snoop?
Well, Snoop is a brother that his uncle is from our generation. He's an older guy. And Snoop came up listening to Olivia Lost and Turned Out and songs like Seems Like I Gotta Do Wrong, and it appealed to him. And to this day, to his credit, we really admire Snoop, because one of the few rappers that don't mind telling you how he feels about the whispers. And we're just elated, because Snoop is a younger guy that's from our area. He was from Long Beach. But we watch, as most people did, from afar. Snoop is a very smart young man, worth plenty money.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're just elated, and we're very proud of the fact that he considers the Whispers one of his favorite groups.
Did he have y'all partying with him like how he had the young boys partying with him?
He had a party at his place, and he invited us. And, we, I think Usher was there, and it's quite a few people, young people were there. We had a great time that night.
That's what I'm getting at right there. That great time.
What kind of time?
I think I know where you're trying to go with this
I think
question.
what you're getting at, that we might as well be honest about this. There's a big difference between his age and ours. See, what he thinks is a good time and what we think is a good time
Exactly.
is a little different.
Right.
We're just talking about the music.
Yeah,
Okay, touche.
We just happy that he promotes us the way he does. And matter of fact, since you're talking about rappers and other people, between him and Mike Epps, they've done so much for the Whispers. I just can't tell you how much we appreciate the both of them. And they're not from our generation. They're both younger people, but they've done incredible things to promote the Whispers, and we just love them and appreciate them for that.
Yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing right there. I'm gonna ask this question, and I'm gonna get my man Javion in on this. So the question is, man, after all of these years, what keeps y'all going? What keeps y'all going strong and doing this music and wanting to get out there touring and all of that? What keeps the Whispers going?
Well, you're going to get three different answers. This is Walt. I'm going to start. It's upbringing with me. We all came from strong mothers. You know, in Lavelle's case, his father was there, but for the most part, the rest of us, the father wasn't there, but we had strong mothers. But from the very beginning, we knew that we were only as strong as our weakest link, and we stuck together, you know. And it's a really great example for anybody that believes in, if you believe in having a dream and sticking to it, that's the Whispers. You know, we never dreamed coming from Watts, California, that we'd have a 50-year career. We've been all over the world. We've got double platinum music. So it's just a blessing, you know. And to this day, you know, we still tour. I sing in the same key that I did when I was 18 years old, you know. So we just think we're kind of blessed, man. You know, we attribute it all to the man upstairs, but we also attribute it to our fans for being into our music. You know, the kind of music that we sing, you know, we've always respected the ladies. We've always had a message oriented, like, seems like I got to do wrong before they notice me. People at the time when that was released, they said, what y'all trying to do, start a riot? No, we was just doing what the rappers do. We were singing about what we saw.
Right.
We told a story about Olivia and Lost and Turned Out. That's a true story. Olivia lives today. So, you know, we just been blessed, man, and we don't take it for granted.
You know, the funny thing, I want to piggyback off of what Walt said. It's funny that you brought that up because I had a discussion, not that probably no more than probably about a week ago, with a gentleman that belongs to a vocal group, real famous vocal group, and I won't call them out because I don't want to do that. But to show you the difference between them and the Whispers is that one of their members got sick, and he was not there for it's not going on about 6 months. But it's not his fault. He had to have surgery, and so he's out. Well, the whole time that he's out, he didn't get paid. They didn't pay him. Now he's been with the group, 35 plus years, but they didn't pay him. Well, unlike that group, the Whispers, I was out for surgery and went through a couple of, health scares, and I was out for a solid year. But I never missed not one of my paychecks. Nothing. I got paid everything that they got paid. Nobody does that, and that's who the Whispers are. That's why it was when Walter brings up upbringing and strong as your weakest link and supporting one another when you're down and when you're up, that is so important, because it's not just a group, it's family. When you work with somebody 45, 50 years, sometimes you become closer to them than you do your own family, a lot of your family. So when that kind of stuff happens, man, I wish more groups would learn that, like Walter said, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and when that person gives and he's been there that many years and then you kick him to the curb when he's down, I just don't, it's unbelievable because that was one of my biggest things that I was worried about. Well, am I going to get paid? Am I going to survive? Well, how am I going to do that? And both the twins called me and said, what are you worried about?
Yeah, man, you good. Yeah.
These many years. So, that just shows the difference in what the Whispers are about. And we're going to be here as long as we can perform at the right, at the level that people want to see us until we decide that, okay, we just can't do it anymore on the level that, we feel like we're given 100%. And when that happens, that's when you'll see the Whispers walk away.
Yeah, let me close that section out by saying that young people need to know this too. The biggest part is the health. The reason why we're still here as long as we've been singing now going on 58 years, there's only one reason for that. We didn't try to smoke down every tree in America. We understood the importance of taking care of what gets you paid, which is your throat and your volume, So now, yeah, I'm not saying we're choir boys because we're absolutely not. We got some things that we probably ain't too proud of, but that's the one reason why I think we're here. Unity and health and the man upstairs, that's why we're here as long as we have been.
Man, but y'all formed Voltron on that question right there. Y'all came together and My goodness, I ain't never seen nobody in harmony like that.
Heard what you said, unity.
Yeah, beautiful answer right there. I want to get my man Javion on this because he's an R&B singer too, and he was talking about giving up on the music and all of that stuff, and he done started winning some shows, and he done started doing his thing again, revitalizing himself. So I wanted to get him to piggyback off. Can you relate to what these brothers are saying off the answers they gave?
Absolutely. It's the thing about it with me is what was discouraging me was the fact that every time I get involved with people that say they're gonna do something, they don't do it.
Right.
And then I end up having to do everything by myself. And I'm spending money on venues, I'm spending money on studio time, I'm spending money on all this stuff, and I'm not seeing any reception in return.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's so discouraging because I've been trying to do this for over 20 years myself, and still being independent. And I can do it by myself, but it takes longer. And it just got to the point to where I just felt like I was at my wit's end and I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And then when I finally announced, okay, I'm done, I'm retiring, that's when the blessings started coming. So
yeah, man. Well, all right, man. Well, hopefully, man. Hopefully, they just gave you some encouragement and keep this thing going.
To the youth, brother. Can I speak to the brother just for a second?
Yes, sir.
We started out, and I ended up going to Vietnam. Most of you don't even know nothing about Vietnam. You probably weren't even born when the war of Vietnam was fought. But when I got back, the Whispers had progressed so much until I fell behind. And you know, Scotty and I are twins, right?
Yeah.
So when I came back to the group, Scotty went to my mom and he said, "Mom," my mom called me Junior. He said, "I don't know if Junior gonna make it because he done fell too far behind." And my mom said to him, "Well, you better hope that he does make it, because if he don't make it, you ain't gonna make it."
Right.
And the story behind that, this young man, here's what I say to you that I say to all young people: if you serious about what you do, eliminate everybody around you that's not serious. Because what I heard you say, I can depend on me, but when I start trying to depend on other people, they don't hold up the end of the bargain and I'm left holding it. So what you got to do, because it sounds like we were like that. If you really believe in what you can do, don't let nobody discourage you from doing that. But eliminate everything negative. Do it yourself. Be a solo act. Get the people away from you that want to be negative. If they don't have the conviction that you do, get them away from you. Because it sounds like to me that you really want to do this. You said you've been doing this for 20 years. That tells me that you really want to do this. So depend on the one person that you can depend on. That's you.
Amen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's some stuff that I'm gonna take with me too, because I think I'm gonna shave off DJ Rogue. He ain't even made it to work on time.
There go the petty.
I'm just playing, man. Listen,
Petty.
I got a
WPRK, where the P stands for petty.
All right, go ahead.
Listen, I have to say this. I'm a 70s, 80s baby, and I grew up with my mama telling me, "Don't touch my vinyl, put my vinyl back." So we had to listen to nothing but R&B. We call it old school. Well, you know. So I was talking to my father, and I was like, "Hey, Pop, guess who? We're gonna be talking to." His question, he said, was, how do y'all feel impacted on the hip hop community? And do you feel that with everything happening in the neighborhoods, did that have a reaction to how music has changed?
Yeah, I listen to the hip hop community is incredible as far as we're concerned. I mean, we welcome it, and what the real big change from hip hop to rhythm and blues is really mostly technical. And you guys, the younger generation, they learn just like before us. They learn how to produce music from a technical standpoint. It makes it much easier to listen to. When we came along, there was no drum machine. There's no such thing as a drum machine. Now, they don't record. You guys don't record music without a drum machine. And
that's real.
I'm not lying.
No, that's real. Go ahead.
And that's cool. But again, it kind of dismisses the original thing. When you listen to R&B in the 60s, 70s, and 80s,
live band.
it graduates and it gets better and better from a technical standpoint. But the musical ideas are basically the same. There's young people today that just bringing it. They just bad. That's all. I mean, in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no question that the talent is just as good. In fact, in some cases, it's better. But because of the technical aspect, they can produce it better. When we came along, I mean, I listened to Soul Town in my car radio, and I hear songs that, man, I'm saying that could have been used much better if they had a drum machine and they had a computer that really, put the stuff like it's supposed to be, the way they do today.
Right.
So from a technical standpoint, it's definitely better. But as far as the talent, y'all got some bad people, and we had some bad people.
Right.
That's just the way it is. When I say bad, I mean good.
Yeah, we know, we got you. I kind of wanted to shift the subject a little bit because y'all got a very interesting talking point for me. Is in the year 2022, you guys began re-recording your music catalog so you can own your own masters. Right. Now, I've always had questions about this. Of course, we know in our day, we know about Ashanti re-recording her. Several artists are going through this process. And I wanted to ask you, first of all, can you tell folks why you decided to do this process?
Well, we always wanted to do it. What we didn't want to do is what we had to do. When you sign with a record company, the day you put your name on that contract, you are subjected to whatever they want you to do because you have to live up to what's in that contract. You don't own the music. As a writer, you can own it, you get your publishing. But as far as how the music is going to be distributed, the way it's marketed, you don't have no say. So the record company did. Well, so today, that don't exist no more. You don't need a record company to go to record a record. You go in your garage and record a record.
Okay.
Now, you might have to borrow some money from somebody to help you market it, but you might not even need that. We didn't have that opportunity when we came up. We had to wait till those contracts were over with before we had the leverage to own what we did.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Let me give you another little, just to show you a statement that would make you understand the importance of even owning it. Let's say Walt Disney wants to come. You wrote a song, and Walt Disney wants to come and do a commercial on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't have to tell you what kind of money they're going to pay you to do that. It's like it's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you want to be the person to make that deal, or do you want the record company? The record company, when they make it, they don't have you in mind, especially back when we were coming up. Right. So a lot of young people say, well, wait a minute, how did you get in this position in the first place? We got in it because if you wanted to be in the music business, you wanted exposure, you had to go that route, or you didn't have no way at all. Today, you don't have that problem. So we right back to what I was saying earlier, and you can't say it enough. If you start out and you own it, you have no problem. But if you sign with somebody and don't read it, and you look at that fine print down and come to find out that A ain't A and B ain't B, you'll find out what's happening. Then we weren't, simply put, man, we weren't treated fairly, because if we had been, we wouldn't have to do this now.
Gotcha.
Lucky for us, we did live long enough to go and redo our stuff. Your generation don't have to do that. Learn from us.
Okay, so, all right, so I'm trying to understand, one of the things I'm trying to understand about this is, okay, it's a master. So you have a record that's recorded. Now you're re-recording the same record. In essence, re-recording a record is a copy of the original. Like, so you still got, the original is the original. What you guys are doing is re-recording the same record, right? Or you guys changing it?
It's the same record. The only difference is now what we record now we own. That original that's owned by a record company, or different record companies all over the world, because we had some distributorships that went everywhere. Mm-hmm. But what we're doing now, we own. So when Walt Disney come and say, "Listen, I want to take It's a Love Thing by the Whispers. We're doing a marketing thing. We need that song." Mm-hmm. You can deal with the record company who has the original, or you can deal with the Whispers. It's the same record, but you can deal with them on who you want to deal with.
Oh, okay. So you have a choice now. They could deal with who.
Yeah, you in the game now. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
It's a money thing. They're gonna go with who is cheaper.
I see what you're saying. So so technically, if I wanted to just go with your record company and say, hey man, I want to use this, and they give me a better deal than you giving me,
right?
I could do that. Okay, right. I see what you're saying.
But it's even beyond the deal. The key should be that's the money aspect of it, because whoever you deal with, you're going to have to pay for it. Right. But the point of it is, as an artist, you want to own your own.
Right.
You want Walt Disney to talk to you. You don't want them to talk to Capitol.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. I mean, whoever they get to, when they get to you, because if they go to Capitol, Capitol gonna say, yeah, you want to do this? Yeah, it's gonna cost you $100,000. You go to the Whispers, we might say it's gonna cost $100,000 too, but we might not because we own it.
Right.
So
that way you have a choice though now.
Right.
You have a choice. Now you have a choice. You can pick A window. You can pick door A, or you can pick door B, and that's the biggest thing.
So now I'm
have that choice.
Now I'm thinking along the lines of like a classic or something like that. My question is, wouldn't the original works be worth more than another rendition of that work?
Not if it's the same record.
Not if it's the same record.
Yeah.
Not if it's the same record.
I don't.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a good example. You a DJ, so we've already re-recorded "And the Beat Goes On," "Rock Steady," "Olivia." You can get with Willette Ballard. She'll tell you, because we have a sample on everything that we recorded, and you go play what we redid and play the original and see if you can tell the difference.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Not only that, the formats of radio stations, they have a choice. They can go to Warner Brothers and pay a fee that they can't afford, or they can come to us and help the artist that made it richer instead of the record company.
Right. And this is one of the things, I had a very interesting conversation earlier today about this, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. Being that you guys are older, I'm gonna put the question like this: being that we have more modern, like I'm thinking, Confunction. They recently had a song redone by Bruno Mars, and that song is getting all kind of airplay right now. I think it's the Love Train song. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, I'm trying to say this and not be. I don't want to sound ignorant when I say this, but I want to say it like this. Wouldn't it make more sense to kind of get a hot artist, like a artist that's like kind of relevant today, like kind of hot today?
I get where you're coming from.
You see what I'm saying? Like to kind of redo the Whisper songs instead of them doing it.
Absolutely not, because they're the originators.
See, you basing yours on the artist, and we're basing it on the material.
Okay.
See, the material. And the Beat Goes On, even for us, as old as we are, it went through the roof. I mean, when you get a double platinum product, ain't nothing else to talk about. Now, who does it? You can debate that all day long.
Right.
Well, we don't care who do it. We just want it to be done, and we want to own it, and we want to be paid for it. We want to be paid because we did it. Why should Warner Brothers
keep getting
reap the benefits with us? You mean we sung a #1 hit that went double platinum,
right?
And they getting paid for it and not us? Does that sound right to you?
No. Okay.
So this, I think the thing that there's two different things to that. See, I understand where you're coming from. If you get a Bruno Mars to do it, and the beat goes on, we get a certain we don't get paid from the writers. The writer gets paid for that. So he'll make $1 gazillion if Bruno sells it and it winds up going double or triple platinum. But where we get paid is we get paid for every time. Once we record it, we get paid for every time it's played. If it's played in a like Guy said, if Disney wants to play our version, we get paid as an artist from that, and we get publishing from that. That's something that lives on forever.
And not when he said right. And when he said get played, we're not talking about domestic. We're talking about worldwide,
all over the world.
Got you. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So that's including movies and
commercials.
Right.
Okay.
And the other thing too, that and you could go, don't have to take our word for this. Go ask somebody that you know or respect well enough to know, and tell them to explain to you what publishing is.
Publishing
the way
is
I
where money
explain it
is.
to most young people is very simple. Publishing, you get paid forever.
and ever.
That's as simple as I know how to put it. Forever. I mean, when you gone, your kids get it. When they gone, their kids get. That's what publishing is. That's why it's so important.
Okay, and I see. Okay,
And
that's a great answer right there. I
Not
like
only that, because they're
because
redoing
if Bruno
it.
did it, we would get paid for publishing because we own part of the publishing on that song. So if he did it, we're gonna get the publishing aspect. We benefit from that. Now, writers, you know, we did if we wrote the song, it would be different. Deion Silvers wrote, and the beat goes on. So he will wind up benefiting from it. Tremendously.
Okay, so it kind of takes you guys out of the loop.
Yeah,
I understand. Okay,
But the way they redoing it though, if they redoing it, they can still, if they coming to them for they song, they also get them because they still here to be able to perform their song. So they getting, best of both worlds if they go to them directly.
Yeah, it was just something like it was an interesting talking point for me. I'm like, man, how does that work with whatever? But I like I really like the way these brothers answer questions. I'm gonna tell you right now, I am very I dropped my phone. I'm very impressed.
So, brothers, let me ask you this. I guess Willette told you that one of us, I got to explain that. I can't be on too long. How long are we going to, this is very interesting. I wish we could go longer, but we probably don't have as much time. We have to maybe do this at another time.
We can always do a part 2.
Yeah, man. Listen, let's plan for that. Let me let y'all up out of here. I'll let y'all get up out of here, man. I just want to ask one last question, and then I'll let y'all get up out of here, man. I want to talk. I'm gonna skip straight to next generation of the Whispers. Do y'all have any descendants that y'all bringing up? Y'all trying to put out like maybe some kids to carry on the legacy, anything like that?
No, we basically from a performance standpoint. We debate that. We don't. When we're through, I don't know if there's going to be another Whispers. I don't know if we'd form a younger group, but we want the music to continue. And so thank God we still doing it. But a couple of years from now, who knows? I don't know when we're going to stop performing. But when we do, we'll make that decision. As a group, should we form a younger group that's called the Whispers? Probably not. To be honest with you. That's going to be it. And what will be left of us is our music. That's what we want to be remembered by. It's the music.
Yeah, and it's a scary part of that is that generally what happens is, there's like 3 sets of stylistics, 2 sets of stylistics, 3 sets of Delphonics, 2 Manhattans. I mean, what happens is people will come in, and even after you're gone, and form a group and say Whisper Review. So, and start doing your music, which is really scary, and being able to use your name. So, it would be great if one of us would have had some twins that could sing. It probably would have been more definitive to wind up continuing the legacy with that and let them say, this is the Whispers or the new Whispers or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's really scary in these times of day that, somebody I know is going to wind up picking up the banner, and we'll probably not be able to do much about it because all you got to do is say Whisper Review or the Whispers Review or whatever, and they're legal to do it, but they can't use just the Whispers.
Yeah, but you know what? The good news for us is that the administrative part, like my brother was saying, we want to be remembered for the music. Nobody can take that. That's why it's so important to us. That's why we're going through our catalog and redoing it. That ownership is so important because nobody can steal that from you.
Yeah.
You can go do the performance and put the root, do whatever you want, physically. But when you hear a record musically and you say, oh no, that's the Whispers, that's what's important to us.
Okay. Well, listen, man, I got y'all's new music, man. I think y'all just dropped this last month, this Christmas song. And on the top of the hour, I'm gonna fire that one off. and we gonna continue talking about the Whispers all night.
Hey, brother, let me say this to you. Thank you so much for giving us your platform, man. You didn't have to do this.
Definitely.
We appreciate you, and hopefully we can do this again.
And we thank y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Most definitely. Yeah, we definitely look forward to a part 2. And we just really glad that you enjoyed our platform. And let you brothers get up out of here, man. If you guys want to give any shout outs, tell anybody about any shows coming up, anything of that nature, go ahead and take us out with that.
No, we're good. If you go on our website, you can see where we're performing and where it is and the whole bit. So that's all there for everybody to see. But I'd like to say happy holidays, everybody, and I hope everybody has a great Christmas and a happy New Year.
Player. All right, the Whispers, man. We enjoyed y'all.
God bless. Thanks a lot, bro.
We appreciate y'all.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. All right, guys. Bye.
All right,
dog.
Peace.